my God, Gene. Yes, indeed, folks. Welcome to another edition of the Gridiron. And today we got something special for you folks. We've already entered into our second season, a season with a reason, and the teams have already jumped out to some strides. We've made some things happen already in the beginning, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited for what's about to happen, what's coming forward with the games that we have. So let's go ahead and jump into the kickoff where we talk about the things that happened in the weeks past, the weeks that come in. So we're going to talk about where we were. So we jumped into the season. Everybody finished their recruiting. We got recruiting done, and now we went to week zero. Week zero, unfortunately, none of the teams played. But the beauty of this league is we require all the teams to play at least 2 user games. So that way you don't cheat the system. You know, you can't go to Conference USA and like get your way to the playoffs. Like you gotta go through the grind. And KG, you're gonna have to help me out because week 1, I missed a couple of the games. But I know we had some early competition within the league. And I know you were one of the teams involved with a big game against Maryland. But let's get to some other stuff before we get to you and Maryland.
That's right. Week 1, you had Oregon versus Texas. In week 1, Oregon won that national champs, come out swinging, win 28-21. Racked up 239 yards of total offense. Texas got a defensive end that's an absolute beast, and he's unblockable. Comes off the edge, and there's no way to block him. But Oregon found a way to take the game 28-21 to continue their undefeated streak after
they don't run. Oregon's on an unparalleled run. Like, if you ever are playing sports or you're a sports fan and you don't understand the beginning of the season, you think your team is destined to lose. Like Oregon, after like week 6 in the season, they just became a whole different team. Like they vibe, and I know there's a certain person that tried to keep them from getting a recruit that played wide receiver that was a 99 and a specialist. So yeah, they're a dynamic, they're interesting, and they have shown throughout the course of the season that they're going to be something to reckon with.
Quick comment real quick from Matty Ice. He said, just saying hi from Toronto real quick since missed Thursday and probably missed tomorrow heading home. Matty Ice, safe travels, brother. Keep taking them picks, man. I'm living the dream through you right now.
Vicariously, that's the word.
Also in week 1, Alabama beats Florida State 24-14. Alabama started off slow, and I talked to Coach Dario, and I asked him, and I said, "What happened? Why didn't you jump out all over me?" He said, "I wanted to feel him out," and he takes this as a liking to boxing. He wants to use the early rounds, which is the first quarter, to feel out his opponent, and then figure out how he's going to attack. Going into halftime, 17-14 Alabama. It was a defensive battle. Only 1 touchdown was scored in the second half, and that was by Alabama to make it 24-14. And Alabama racked up 306 yards of offense.
You know, big guy, I hear you, but there's a stat that's just is alarming on this board, and it looks like the yards per rush. It looks like Alabama was 6.7 yards per rush, and Florida State was minus 2.0. That says it all right there for me.
Yep.
I don't see where the rushing yards are on this stat. 21 for 142 and 1 touchdown. There we are right there. That's the ball game.
Man.
I'm sorry.
No. You're absolutely right, because you got to think about it like this. Alabama last season was a balanced team.
They were a juggernaut.
They've
Like,
come out to be
because they had two running backs. I forget their names, but if their two running backs got off, you were done. And your focus was to stop. I don't know if Alabama has a wide receiver that we know. You know, they were so dominant in the run game that we didn't really have to worry about their wide receivers because their running backs were so dominant. And I told you, you guys have this holy trinity of running game. And that's what I'm gonna call it. It's the holy trinity of running game. It is you, Dario, and Xavier. You guys have come up with some concepts and some schemes through the video game where you guys are pretty dominant when it comes to running the football.
well.
So that's how I'm gonna refer to it. It's the trinity. It's the holy trinity.
What you say? The click clack of the pads, and
Yes,
you
sir.
come in and you know that's what you want to hear. But it's not. Charles Davis said it best. It's no longer 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It's grass covered pellets.
I got you.
Matty Ice says, do you guys think in the game there are just way too many pick sixes? It's just something in my Kent State seasons. It seems like 80% of the picks I throw or get are TDs.
You know it's funny you say that because that's one of the concerns I have, Matty Ice, once I purchase the PlayStation 5 and I get the game, because I am pass first. I am a very pass heavy person. And when I watch these guys play the game, I see a lot of guys kind of going away from the passing game because when you play at All-American or you play at these levels, the game sometimes restricts because of some of the impossible things that the corners and the safeties do to keep you from completing passes. So I have that caution as well. And I think it's more so the game than a thing about you.
You know, I to think about that, Matty Ice just brought up a good point because in offline dynasties, I notice I get a lot of pick sixes, and they always come late.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's a close game, let's say it's a good old KG shootout. It's 13-10 and you're holding on to a lead and the team is driving, and all of a sudden you get that turnover. It's a pick six. Now it's 20-10. They come back out again and it's a pick six. Now it's 27-10. It's like I've turned the tide late in games so much off of pick sixes. It's uncanny, but I think that's it's a glitch in the matrix. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw a Harden. No, that's the word I want to use. There's been a thing where teams that were pass heavy early last year have become run dominant just because you got to. There's safety in or being conservative kind of helps you with this video game. I know back in the day when we played it in the 90s, it was the Wild Wild West, and that's where I thrive. Like, you could throw the ball, you could complete, if it's 4th and 25, you could complete a bomb. It was nobody's problem. There's no issues with it. But now, because the game has put in so many buffers, so many things to stop teams from being able to complete that 4th and 35 bomb for 50 yards, that we've lost some of the gameplay because we're making it very realistic in that standpoint. You know what I'm saying?
True indeed. The boss BJ checking in, Coach of Maryland. Also, the game will only allow you to run the same plays a few times before they get jumped, so you can't run the same play over and over. They'll adjust to it. And then also, EA won't admit it, but the game turns the level up for the computer to remain competitive. It does.
True. And hopefully you
Say
stick
Ohio
around
State.
because there was a big game this week that I want to talk about. Between the Terps and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I only got to see parts of it, but because I got the boss and the big guy, I mean, maybe the boss jumps in for like a 5-minute segment, and we talk about this ball game that happened between the Maryland Terps and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And as I say this, I gotta tell you, like, there's two producers in this world. Actually, it's three that are the best in sports entertainment. There's Anthony Haney from 980. There's the guy Matt from 980 that does the Chris Russell show. And there's the big guy KG. Because I didn't even have to tell him to pull this up. And here we are, boom, live and direct, in full color. We got the Maryland Notre Dame stats up on the board. Thank you first and foremost, but let's talk about this ball game because this was a classic. Notre Dame jumped out 17-7 right before the half. I gotta say, I love Boss BJ's offense, but when he goes in the lows, I just worry about what he's calling, what he's thinking. But we're so much on the same mind frame that, like, I just know he's like that one play, that one moment from being right there on the cusp. And it looks like we got the boss in the comment section. Let's go.
No, you have him in studio. You have the boss BJ in studio.
I'm sorry. Yes. So let's go 3-man screen.
All right. Boom. Drop that.
All right. So here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the boss BJ, coach of the Maryland Terrapins. I got the big guy KG, coach of Notre Dame. They just played this week. One of the best games I saw on this thing. So I'm going to start with KG because you're the winner. No slight to the boss, but what was your thought process in this ball game? Because Maryland jumped out 7-0, but then you made your run with 17 straight points. So, like, how did that process go?
To be quite honest, walking into this game, the goal was to score first, get a stop, and try to at least put 3 on the board, be up by 2 scores.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that was the goal. And I practiced a particular play because it was I knew that BJ was going to take out the gentleman we were talking about earlier that I prevented Oregon from getting, my transfer wide receiver, Zachariah Branch from USC. So I said, he's going to try to neutralize him. And I'll be damned if he did. I ran a crossing play, and I watched BJ backpedal and then follow him across the field.
Okay.
Wherever he went, it was a double team on him. So he took away the main part of my game plan that I was going to. So I had plan A, B, C, and D, and he made me pull out all of them. So the plan was to try to just get at least 2 scores ahead and just kind of hold the ball, but just keep picking up first downs and just keep his offense off the field because Hemby, I knew I wasn't going to stop Hemby. I knew I wasn't going to stop him. They had 12 yards per rush. What can I do?
So, boss, if you don't mind jumping in real quick, I watched him be a big part of your offense, and you're me. You're a big motion guy. You're a big getting everybody involved. Like, what was the challenges besides the fact that you know each other so well? Like, what would you think is the biggest challenge that you had facing the KG defense?
Morning to everybody. Y'all have to excuse Brian Jr. is knee deep in some roadblocks. So Brian, here's the thing, and I'm not making excuses, but you know, my Maryland squad is behind every team probably except maybe Colorado, and I still might be behind Colorado when it comes to talent. So when I come into these games where I'm playing bigger schools, the game has to be perfect. There cannot be mistakes. It has to be a flawless play game. When we talk about offensively, drives can't stall. You have to chew up a certain amount of clock. You know, on defense, you got to make tackles. You can't let things go. So in my head, on offense, like I'm just trying to I'm trying to set things up for a bigger play down the field somewhere else where and this the crazy thing is I struggle getting Hemby really involved the whole last season. So he's come out the gate really being a part of this offense. And I'm kind of, I'm that's something I'm really, really, really looking forward to for the rest of the season. But I know that Notre Dame, what they have on defense, what they have on their team, period, things like you have to hit the holes. You have to hit receivers at a certain time and out of their break. The whole 9 yards. So like I know that it has to be spread around so that he can't focus on, and I know Hemby's a big part, but if I get you, and it's not just with playing the big guys, if I get you to like worry about multiple people, then you can't focus in on one thing. And I think that's where I try to, balance my offense at. All right, when you look at my stat sheet for the season, that like, damn, he spreads the ball out. There's not one. I can't double team this guy. I can't do this. He's not the only thing you may be able to do on my offense is see that I pass 60 or 70% of the time.
Right,
That
right, right.
that's something you could probably key in on. Other than that, I just try to keep it as balanced as I can, man.
And KG, I mean, I know you made some changes in your offense. Um, I think you had a kid. Is it Great House, Stant House? Slot receiver number 19 had a big game against Maryland. Um, just talk about your offense going forward because you got a couple recruits, you got some kids where you don't have to be fully in the love business. When we talk about love, we're talking about your running back. Um, like talk about the things that you're doing now in terms of offensively. You don't have to give us trade secrets, but like I saw a different offense from you in this ball game.
I came out and I didn't want to be predictable. And that's something BJ told me last season. He said, I was watching your games. It's like, man, you're predictable. Everything you do is predictable. And I didn't want to feel that way. So I in the off season, I worked. I said, I got to get the guys that I want. And then also I opened up the playbook more to a lot of different things that I'm comfortable with. And I'm getting more and more comfortable as the weeks go on. But the passing game has opened up to the point where I don't even have to look at who's open. I know who's already open most of the time. I'll say about 80% of the time without even looking. And it's just a reaction of what the linebackers are doing. Who's blitzing? Are you picking up the blitz? And it's like, all right, we got it. And in this Maryland game, it was one particular play, that touchdown by Great House.
Mm-hmm.
I came up to the line, and I said this to the boss, BJ. We were talking about it yesterday. And I said, when I came up to the line, because I rewatched the game, and I said, he's getting ready to blitz everybody. And I need this. It was a 4th down. I said, I need this first down to keep going. I audibled out of it. It was supposed to be a fullback trap, and I audibled out of it. And the linebacker actually backed up in the coverage, but I threw it just in time that he couldn't get his hands on it, and it whizzed right by the linebacker's head. And he was off to the races after that.
And very, very bad pursuit angles on my part, trying to be aggressive and trying to hit stick the ball free. I thought when I saw him catch it first, it was just complete surprise because I was like, I believe I called a cover 2, and I expected that not to be available. But then the first person I tried to get to, I tried to hit stick to see if I get the ball loose, and then that whiffed. And after that, nobody else on the turf and roster was available to make a tackle.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys this question, because you guys are the personification of me and my friends. Like we've played each other so many times over the years that like boss, you know what KG's offense is. KG, you know what the boss's offense is. Um, in this ball game, did you have a moment where like the other guy surprised you with something they did? And if they didn't, it's all good because we are old school. So we know that if it ain't broke, you ain't got to fix it. So for either of you, was there a moment where you like tried something different or thought of something different to get in this ball game?
He got me with the first tight end across the big formation.
Right.
I was 100%. I didn't commit to the run, but I was 100% waiting for run. But he still had Branch out there as that single wide receiver. So I'm playing high safety, and I just took off running because I figured he was either going to run the ball or he was going to bank on me setting up for the run and playing man-to-man press and giving that receiver a wide open lane to go past him. So when he hiked the ball, I just took off with the safety back to cover Branch, left the middle wide open for that tight end, which was an excellent call. Excellent call. And I just he got me on that one. And then when he came out with it again, I was trying to balance covering Branch, the receiver he has with, what is it, 97 speed, 97 acceleration?
Yes, sir.
And then setting up, trying to defend the run to the strong side and that tight end pass play. So that was a good play.
Yeah, like as I watched it, I didn't get a chance to watch all that ball game, but I can see little subtleties, and it's like BJ, you won't understand it, but like our offensive minds are very similar. So when you do stuff, I'm already on the same page with you, and it's scary because I would never want to play you because I could never defend what you do because we're so in sync. We don't do it in the same scenarios, the same sequences, but when I watch it, I'm like, yeah, I would have done that. I would have done it differently, or I wouldn't have done it at that time. But yeah, big guy, your run game, your quarterback, it looks like you're comfortable with Angeli. Talk about that real quick, and then let's go to where we are right now, and let's talk about some of the Heisman candidates at this point so far.
And maybe I'm getting comfortable with him. I will say that. I know he's gone after this season, so it's a one and done. But
okay,
I do have a freshman quarterback that's redshirted this year that will be unleashed on the country come next fall.
Okay.
And he's a 5-star recruit, athlete, scrambling quarterback. So I'll be able to run the option a little bit more fluidly. So look out. But Angeli is he's giving me more oomph on the ball than Riley Leonard was last season.
Because Riley Leonard sucks. But I'm sorry.
Well, I turned him into a 6th-round draft pick. I'm sorry, 3rd-round draft pick.
Okay. Let's go through some of these things that we had. The pictures, the Heisman Trophy stuff and all that. If you got it still.
Yep, look at your Heisman Trophy race right
Cole,
now.
Hold on. How is Cole Cabana a redshirt junior? Did he transfer into Michigan?
I don't know if he transferred into Michigan.
But he was on the bench? Because, yo, this dude came out of nowhere. And he's like a 99 speed, 99 acceleration. It's ridiculous. I watched Michigan play earlier, and like, I'm scared for anybody else in the Big Ten that has to play Michigan because this dude is off the charts, off the chain.
Well, Maryland plays Michigan later on in the season at College Park.
I don't envy you at all.
And no, this cat was not a transfer in. He was on the bench last year.
Jesus Christ. Oregon's got looks like a wide receiver and a QB in the top 10. Well, Oregon put the wood to somebody. I forgot who they were playing this week.
Oregon State, the rivalry game.
Yeah, that wasn't pretty. Not pretty at all. They got theirs in. if I can ask you guys, because I haven't played yet on the console, I'm probably about a month or two away from playing on the console. Is there a way to get your backups in the ball game? Like if you're up,
Yes, they just
okay,
updated it. So when you go to coaching, you could do mass subs.
substitutions. There you go. All
Yes,
right,
they
cool.
just updated it. The other thing they need to do, they need to go and do it so that you can do your audibles before the game. You set your
Right.
audibles up, and also formation stuff so that and whatever. So like I have a scrambling quarterback that I would like to put in certain situations, and I
Okay.
would like him to already be there and not have to go do it in game.
Cool. That's exactly what I was talking about. And there we go. Again, symbiotic minds, symbiotic thinking. Um, that's really what I was asking that question for, is because I would love to be like, say, in a situation like goal line, and I take my athlete that's a quarterback, put him in the ball game, and now we can run triple option, inside zone, whatever it is, and I'm good to go. Um, I know what's next is on our thing. I don't know what our schedule is the next couple of weeks, but what I want to do is I want to trumpet you guys for being willing to um put big ball games on the schedule. And if you look at the top 25, um, we are heavily represented in the top 25 as we speak. I see Michigan's one, Oregon's two. I gotta do my old man and take my glasses off and see the
Are
rest of
you
this.
good? Alabama's 3, Notre Dame is 7th, Miami is 12th. Let's see, my Maryland Terps are 19th after the loss, and we got Texas at 2021, and that rounds out the user. No more users are in the
All
top
right.
25.
Thanks for the help, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, but this we got something going, man. We got something brewing with this league and with these teams, man. I know TCU's had some hiccups,
They got
but
a big game at Oregon this week.
ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to be TCU this week playing Oregon, because the way
Oregon's on the
Oregon looked
roll.
against Oregon State, they were on something different.
Yeah, Oregon found the last ingredient, and they're cooking.
Yes, that's the best way to put it. I love the way you say that.
So
Like that they found that woo or that what we need. Yeah.
they got the Krabby Patty secret formula, baby.
There it is. There it is. Yes, sir. Before I let you coaches go, and before we get out of here, is there anything you guys want to like allude to, get to, and talk about going forward before we end this conversation?
Can I go first, KG?
Go ahead, sir.
Let me tell you something, and I just want to speak on the Big Ten. The Michigan Wolverines and Coach D. For myself, I'm gonna speak for myself. I'm not gonna speak for Oregon. The way he runs and the production his running backs give off, and the
Yes.
amount of XP they're going to get, because you got to remember the guys on the bench are going to the guys on the bench as far as the running backs and the linemen are going to get XP from the great running seasons he's having. So when this kid graduates, he's going to have another kid back there, probably 95 plus speed. His O linemen are going to be running power, all the whole 9 yards. So what it
Talk
what and I what I'm
before you get off of that, B. I don't want to interrupt you, and I'm sorry if I'm talking over you, but
no, you good.
you just said something great. You talked about the XP and the guys going forward. So, like, I don't think people understand the part where we go forward into the future, where the fact that you're running the ball now, what it does to your team in the future.
Absolutely. So your linemen, depending on it, and it depends on your coach setup. But even if you don't have the coaching upgrades, because you ran the ball so well, when you go in your off-season training boost, your linemen that are still there are going to get boosted. So let's just say you had a lineman that was an 85 overall, he might be a 92 next season. Um, Cabana is an 83 overall, he might go to a 92. He might go from 83 carry to 91 carry. He might go from 60 break tackle to 72. He's going to get upgrades because he's having such a great year. And on top of that, if he wins the Heisman, he's going to get even more XP. His coach, the coach from Michigan, is going to get even more XP and coins to upgrade his stuff. So this is the trickle-down effect in the Big Ten. Now, when I'm recruiting, I have to recruit linebackers that are over 85 speed. I can't get boys like right now, my starting senior, 78 overall speed, but he has a 90 awareness. That means he's going to know where to go, but any angle he takes to Cabana is the wrong angle because he only has 78 speed. So now this changing your recruiting dynamic in the Big Ten, where now you're looking for linebackers that can move. You're looking for ends that can block, shed, and the run to help slow that down because that's the Big Ten champ. Until somebody knocks him off the throne and, it looked like him and Oregon are on a pace to maybe do that. The Terps ain't ready yet. Maybe another season. So I just wanted to say that how just one player's play can change the dynamic in the league as far as recruiting and what you have to prepare for.
KG, I know you had some insight on recruiting a certain wide receiver that you acquired. You want to give any trade secrets or any ideas? I know we talked about it before, but is there anything else you got on that before we get out of here?
Well, first and foremost, I did it wasn't illegal, but I did a smear campaign. I was like, hey, Oregon.
No, whoa. Allegedly, there was a campaign. You can't always. What are we doing here?
Cuz who will stop me? I'm Notre Dame. What you gonna do to me?
No. We have to keep things for the people in the public. It's got to be allegedly. There was a campaign out there about this kid.
My goal was looking at this kid. I needed a receiver because that's one of the things I needed. I didn't have any speed of receiver, so I needed him.
Okay.
And it was like putting a nuclear bomb in the hands of somebody. If Zachariah Branch should have went to Oregon,
right,
we can go ahead and just cancel the season. Because one thing Big Jim does is he can throw the deep ball with accuracy.
Better than anybody else.
Right. We've seen it against Oregon State. We've seen it against who was it? Texas. He lit Texas up back-to-back plays. Imagine him having it. Yeah.
Let me ask you this question, because I'm not in the recruiting part. I remember the days back in the day where you could create your own recruit. And this is what I want to offer as an idea. Like, if that is possible, I think every team should create a recruit. And then you add them to the system if it's possible.
I don't think we can.
If you can't, it's cool. But I know back in the day, you could, on college football, you could add a recruit that is like a creative prospect. And if you can't, that's cool. But if it's not, that's an option to make it even more creative. Because then, what does it feel like to create a recruit, put them in your system or in your thought process, and then for somebody else to get that kid? Like, you build a kid perfectly for Notre Dame, but the boss gets him.
Heartbreak.
But it would be so great.
Don't worry, he'll be in Terp colors, and I have him wear like gold armbands or something.
Oh Lord! Speaking of heartbreak, hold on. We talk about what's next. We had part 1 of the Civil War, brother versus brother, which was week 3. That was Maryland versus Notre Dame. Coming up, you have TCU versus Oregon, Coach Rawls versus Big Jim, Coach Big Jim. Also, you have part 2 of the Civil War, Alabama versus Notre Dame.
Ooh, that touches close to home.
Father versus son. And then after that, you have 3.
Before that game starts, are you going to look at him and say, your faults as a son are my failures as a father?
Well, I've called in the big guns, and I've tried to give him the pep talk about, hey, you know what this means, you know what this is, and we
no
talk
threat.
about.
Don't threaten your kids because you like to threaten them. Oh, you can't have TV after 9:00 if you beat
I didn't threaten anybody. I called in the big dog. I said I talked to my wife this morning. I said you're gonna have to talk to him. You're gonna have to talk to him.
Okay.
She said she's not getting in it.
Okay.
It's okay. So we got to take this for what it is, and okay.
Anything else we got?
I think that's it for me, B.
No, I don't have anything else.
All right, cool. Hey, ladies and gents, first and foremost, I'd like to thank the big guy KG for helping me out, carrying me through parts of this episode. The boss BJ for jumping in. I'm the Midnight Rider, talking you through what we call the Gridiron, and hopefully you come back and enjoy this show next week, because this is the greatest show that talks about college football 25 in a dynasty mode that you'll ever see. Thank you. Have a great day.
In the great words of Shannon Sharp, put them legs up and fucking submit to me.
Whoa. That was unsolicited. Good night, folks. Have a great day.